Jana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Sodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Grivardhari Jaya Grivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Grivardhari Jaya Grivardhari Sodanandana Raja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jayom Vishnupad Paramhangsa Brahmadakacharya Asadhara Satushi Sriman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribol. Glories to the sound devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskatyade Satarne Om Agana Tivarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shiguro Shri Utapada Kamalam Shigurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Prijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakans Vitams Cha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sita Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Drubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvyavacha Patidanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitananda Shadvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 2, Daksha curses Lord Shiva, text number 11. Eshame Shishatam Prapto Yanme Duhitor Agrahit Panim Vipragni Muktakata Savitriya Iva Sadhuvat Eshame Shishatam Prapto Yanme Duhitor Agrahit Panim Vipragni Mukata Savitriya Iva Sadhuvat Eshame Shishatam Prapto Yuhitor Agrahit Agni Mukata Sarivichaya Iva Sadhuva Eshame Shishatam Prapto Yanme Duhitora Agrahit Panim vipragni mukata. Savitriya iva sadhuva. Eshame shishatam prapto. Yanme duhitur agre. Panim vipragni mukata. Savitriya iva sadhuva. Esha he Shiva may my Shishatam subordinate position Praptaha accepted Yan because may duhitu of my daughter Agrahit he took Panim the hand Vipra Agni of Brahmins and fire Mukata in the presence Savitriya Gayatri Eva like Sadhuvat like an honest person. He has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and Brahmins. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri and has pretended to be just like an honest person. Purport. Daksha's statement that Lord Shiva pretended to be an honest person means that Shiva was dishonest because in spite of accepting the position of Daksha's son-in-law, he was not respectful to Daksha. So I'll just keep on reading. He has eyes like a monkey's, yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. I had no desire to give my daughter to this person who has broken all rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure. But I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him, just as one teaches the messages of the Vedas to a Shudra. Purport. A Shudra is forbidden to take lessons from the Vedas because a Shudra, due to his unclean habits, is not worthy to hear such instructions. This restriction, that unless one has acquired the Brahminical qualifications, should not read the Vedic literatures, is like the restriction that a law student should not enter a law college unless he has been graduated from all lower grades. According to the estimation of Daksha, Shiva was unclean in habits and not worthy to have the hand of his daughter Sati, who was so enlightened, beautiful, and chaste. The word used in this connection is Bina Sevatave, which refers to one who has broken all the regulations for good behavior by not following the Vedic principles. In other words, according to Daksha, the entire transaction of the marriage of his daughter with Shiva was not in order. Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadhyade Sadharane. One of the parts of our philosophy that's emphasized in the Bhagavad Gita is that one should act according to one's qualifications. As Krishna says, Shreyan swadamo viguna paradharmat swanustitat Shreya dharame nididam shreyak parabhavo bhayavaha paradharmo bhayavaha. It is better to perform one's own prescribed duty, even though one may execute it imperfectly, than to perform someone else's duty. Prescribed duties, even if they're a failure, there's no danger, but to follow someone else's duty is dangerous. In other words, one should know what one's qualifications are so that one can actually know what one's duty is. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vavastito gyatva shastram vidanokta karma kartami harasi. One should know one's duty and what is not one's duty by the regulations of Scripture, and knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so one can gradually become purified. The Vedic literature is meant to gradually raise one from the modes of ignorance to the mode of passion, to the mode of goodness, to the stage of transcendence. So one could take to any process, whether it be karma yoga, or jnana yoga, or astanga yoga, or bhakti yoga, and by such processes, the idea is that gradually raise oneself to a higher state of awareness, purity, and consciousness. But if one imitates a higher stage than one is actually on, then one will not be able to purify oneself. Instead, one will become even more degraded. That one has, for instance, one should eat according to one's power of digestion. If one imagines he has a great power of digestion, where he doesn't, then he gets into trouble. Whereas Prabhupada said, if you're an ant, you should eat like an ant. And if you're an elephant, you should eat like an elephant. But if you're an elephant and you eat or if you're an ant, you eat like an elephant, there'll be some difficulty. And if you're an elephant, you eat like an ant, there'll also be difficulty. So one should ascertain correctly what is one's actual power of digestion. Similarly, one should know what one's mode of nature is, so that one can perform his duty appropriately. There are duties for those in the mode of ignorance. As Krishna says, Samo Dhamma Tapasocham Shanti Arjavam Evacha Jnana Vijnanam Asti Kyam Brahma Karma Sabhavajam. So for those in the mode of goodness, there are qualities to be developed. The Brahmins are not so physically active, but they're active in developing their qualities of equanimity, sense and mind control, peacefulness or forgiveness, simplicity, developing knowledge, theoretical and applied, and working according to religious principles. While the Kshatriyas, being more active, still develop qualities. Surya, Teja, Driti, Daksha, Yude, Chapyapalayanam, Dhanam, Ishvara, Bhavascha, Shatran, Karma, Sabhavajam. So Surya, heroism, power, Tejas, Driti, fortitude, Daksha, expertise, courage and be able to fight in the battle, Yude, Chapyapalayanam, Dhanam, the ability to give charity, and Ishvara, the ability to control others. These are the qualities by which the Kshatriyas work. Krishi, Gorakshavani, Jam, Vaishya, Karma, Sabhavajam, Shudras, Krishi, Gorakshavani, Jam, Vaishya, Karma, Sabhavajam. Something about service to others. So for the Vaishyas, there is Krishi, plowing, Goraksha, cow protection, Vaniya, trade, that these are the activities principally for the Vaishyas. And for the Shudras, Shudrasya Picha Pavajam. There's service to others. So generally, in the lower modes of nature, we have to correct our activities. And on the higher modes of nature, then we correct our consciousness, or purify our consciousness. They're all actually purifying the activity, the consciousness, but in the lower modes of nature, we have little access to our higher consciousness, and therefore we emphasize more of the activities than the consciousness. And in the higher modes of nature, then the consciousness is emphasized more than the activities. Similarly, even for the devotees, Krishna says, Chatura Vida Vijante Mam, Janasakritin Arjuna, Artha jignasya artharati jnani cha bharatar shiva. Even for those who are aspiring devotees, then generally even they add Krishna to their lives in some way, that in the beginning it's mostly emphasizing on the more platform of gross experience, namely trying to free oneself from distress, trying to find some peace, then trying to find some comfort. Because people don't know what comfort in this age is. They think if you can ride on a nice car, then that's comfort. Or if you have a nice couch. And because they can't find comfort, generally they're taking all kinds of intoxication to try and dull their material experience. But actually, real comfort comes from keeping the body healthy by clean air, fresh water, proper food, nice relationships. So that's actually comfort. But people don't know that because they don't know anything, practically speaking. Although they think they know everything. But that's one of the symptoms that they don't know anything, is that they think they know everything. But they don't even know how to free themselves from distress or even how to become comfortable. And the very things that they're doing to make themselves free from distress causes them more distress. Now in America, I think one of the major causes of death is taking opiates. The doctors were prescribing painkillers like they were prescribing aspirin, saying, no problem, you won't get addicted, just take as much as you want. And of course they all became addicted, millions of people. And addiction means that often you overdose, and so hundreds and thousands of people are dying from overdoses in America. Not just addicts on the street, housewives, middle-class housewives, or opiate addicts, because they got some prescription for a toothache, and they wound up taking it too much, and they became addicted to these pills. So that was their means of finding some freedom from distress, but actually they caused more distress. And their so-called comfort, I feel good in my life if I have a nice smartphone. I may be very foolish and stupid, but my phone is very smart. They've done studies and they found out that people, when their smartphone is on the desk and they're sitting at the desk, they become more stupid. That their intelligence increases when their smartphone is away from them. So they want comfort. They think if I get a new phone, I get a nice computer, if I get a new car, that's comfort. But actually, to get these things, they put themselves into so much discomfort. As I mentioned before, when one of the iPhones came out, one boy in China became so much enthusiastic to get it that he donated his kidney to afford to get an iPhone. Because his parents noticed something was wrong, and they found out he had donated his kidney. When the new one came out, he was going to donate his other kidney, but they stopped him from doing it. So he thought he'd become comfortable and happy having a new iPhone. So he was able to sacrifice even his own body in order to get it. So on the lower platform, people are interested in taking care of their material body, but they don't know even how to do that. So at least in Krishna consciousness, we learn what is the actual process of getting free from distress. People are shocked that the devotees, they follow regular principles. No illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, no meeting. They think that this is the source of happiness and the relief from material misery. They don't know that these are actually the causes of distress and the lack of happiness. So just by following the regular principles, one becomes free from so many problems. And then real comfort, as I said, is nice food, nice clean air, friendly relationships, fresh water. So the devotees generally are quite comparatively poor compared to many wealthy people, but their lives are much more opulent. They don't eat dead animals. They don't drink rotten grapes. Because they know that this is not the standard of happiness. So one may be a billionaire, but his eating, his sleeping, his mating, defending are all distressful. But on a higher level than that, there's the Jignasu, and there's a Gyani. Though Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said they correspond to the Kshatriyas and the Brahmins. The Jignasu are those who are inquisitive, how to live properly in this material world. They're like the Kshatriyas inquiring from the Brahmins about real knowledge, how to organize society in a beneficial way. So, by becoming inquisitive, what is my actual position, then one can find out that the material world by nature is distressful. Any situation we have in the material world is going to imply some distress. Only when one comes to the spiritual platform or works towards the spiritual platform can one actually become free from distress. One can become peaceful, and from peace, real happiness can develop in Krishna consciousness. So the Kshatriyas learn how to organize society in such a way as to become people in general and can get free from lust, anger and greed, rise up to the spiritual platform where they can realize themselves as spiritual beings, which is the goal of the Vedic literature. Jayatam, that by birth, that everyone is born Shudra. Jayate Shudra. And by samskarat bhavat dvija. Jayatam Jayate Shudra. And by samskara bhavat dvija. And by some samskar, by some association with higher personalities and following the principles of the Vedas, one can realize himself to be different from the body, that to have some goal in life other than just eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Veda Panta Bhavat Dvija Vipra. And by studying the Vedas, one can rise up to the platform of becoming a Vipra, a learned scholar. Brahma Janatiti Brahmanaha. And then one can realize oneself as a spiritual being. So the Vedic literature is meant to take one from the lowest position in material existence, and by applying the principles of the Vedas, gradually become free from distress by regulating one's sense gratification, learning how to live in harmony with the material nature, finding out what is actually physically and mentally healthy, then finding out what the actual goal of life is and applying it within one's life so that one realizes oneself as a spiritual being. And then one can take up the process of devotional service and begin to act on the liberated platform by trying to worship and love Vishnu without any other material motivation, cooperate with the devotees, try to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission by helping others become Krishna conscious, and to avoid those who are the association of those who have no interest or against Krishna consciousness. So here, Daksha is accusing Lord Shiva of being of the lowest nature and not even inclined towards any kind of Vedic any elevation by following the Vedic principles. Obviously, he's misunderstood Shiva, which will be explained later on. Shiva means auspicious. Daksha misunderstood Shiva, and therefore he also misunderstood his own position in relationship to Shiva. And by such offenses, he was not acting according to Vedic knowledge, because he was dealing with the Vaishnava, and therefore Rupa Goswami says we're supposed to engage in loving exchanges with the Vaishnavas, beginning with Krishneti Yasya Manasad, Krishneti Yasya Manasad, Krishneti Yasya Manasad, something. That one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name. So Lord Shiva was in meditation upon Lord Vishnu. So even if Daksha thought he had some problems in his cleanliness or other kinds of things, still he was meditating on Krishna. The whole goal of all the Vedic literature, of all the rules and regulations, Smarta Yaksaratam Vishnora, Vismark Jatuna Kinchit, Sarva Vidi Nisedya Syora, Atyar Eva Kinkara. That all the Vedic literature is aimed at helping us always remember Vishnu or Krishna and never to forget him. If one follows that, then one is following all the vidis, all the rules that you should do, and all the nishejas, all the things one is supposed to avoid. And after following all the rules and regulations, if one doesn't remember Vishnu, then one is simply wasting his time. So Lord Shiva was deeply in meditation, Lord Vishnu, and therefore he was unaware of Daksha's entry into the assembly. But Daksha, being envious, could not understand Shiva's exalted position, and therefore instead of mentally honoring him at least, because he was in meditation upon Lord Vishnu, he began to criticize him. And therefore he committed offense against the Mahabhagavat and got into very grave trouble. So one has to learn how to detect who's on what platform of devotional service, and at least, even if one misestimates a devotee, at least one should respect the devotee within the mind. In devotional service, there's no room for envy, for unnecessary criticism. Of course, we can see that even great Mahabhagavats like Srila Prabhupada would sometimes criticize the non-devotees, but Prabhupada would point out that I'm not criticizing, I'm simply repeating what Krishna says. So if you have any problem, you should see Krishna. Nor did Prabhupada criticize people out of enviness, just like if someone is grabbing hold of a tree and won't let go and says, help me, and you tell them, well, sir, the tree, you're mistaken. The tree is not holding on to you, you're holding on to the tree. No, you don't understand, help me, save me. The tree got me. No, just let go and you'll be all right. Why are you criticizing me? Why don't you help me? So the tree is not grabbed hold of the person. The person is grabbed hold of the tree. Because of our attachment to the modes of material nature, we find ourselves in lower positions in this material existence. And if someone comes along and points it out, that, sir, you're attached to this lower mode of nature, or this mode of nature, why don't you let go? If people take it as a criticism, well, that's wrong. It's a suggestion to help the person. But often people will say that someone who says, let go of the tree, they say, oh, you and your philosophy, nothing practical. Why don't you do something practical to help me? Because they don't understand that our entanglement in the material world is actually philosophical. It's due to a misconception. And if one can understand things properly, then one's problems will all be solved. Or Krishna says, Nainam gunebhyas kartaram drashteva nupashati gunebhyas chaparam veti mad bhavam sodigachati. When you see that there's nothing beyond the three modes of material nature and all activities, and that the Supreme Lord is transcendental to all of them, then you can know my spiritual nature. So Daksha was a materialist, therefore he could not understand that his problem was his lack of proper understanding. He was thinking himself to be a great learned scholar, he was puffed up by his material position, and therefore because he had no spiritual knowledge, therefore he committed offense against the Mahabhagavat, misunderstanding his position, minimizing his meditation on Lord Vishnu, and therefore Krishna taught him a very severe lesson. But that lesson was actually quite helpful for him. Just like if one doesn't take to Krishna consciousness, then the material nature will encourage one by teaching one a severe lesson. That's why Krishna has created the material nature. It says in the first canto that the father saw the son was misbehaving, and because the son wouldn't listen to the father gave the son over to a disciplinarian, someone to discipline him, although he didn't want to, but that was his opportunity to discipline his son to bring him back to his proper standard. So Krishna has given us over to the material nature, and the material nature is disciplining us, sometimes because of lack of knowledge. We misunderstand what's happening to us. We think we're being unfairly treated, and therefore we spend our time complaining or trying to fight against the material nature rather than accepting the material nature as discipline, acting accordingly, rectifying ourselves, and therefore becoming eligible to be reinstated in our normal, blissful, eternal position. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
I would like to ask if it is mistaken for a person to do another person's duty if they are in separate classes, like a Shudra shouldn't do a Brahmana's activity or vice versa, or even between the same class. For example, if a Shudra mops the floor and another sews some clothes, is it wrong for the one who sews the clothes to also mop the floor?
What did he do with the clothes?
Sew the clothes? Sewing?
Sewing. I don't know if that's what you learn how to do, but generally speaking, if you can, Shudras, there are different activities for Shudras, at least in the Vedic culture. But if you were trained up to mop the floor, that's your duty, you should mop the floor. But you should mop the floor that you're supposed to mop, not mop someone else's floor, so they can't do their service. Should do yours.
For example, then in the temple, each person, each devotee should have a certain duty and do only that duty, or
No, I mean a devotee should do what he's asked to do. I don't think we have so many devotees in the temple that everyone is assigned to be a devotee, and there's can't do anything else. There's plenty of things to do. There's plenty of services to do, and I don't know in how many temples everyone is assigned exactly a duty. You know, you're supposed to mop this square. You mop my square. Let's step outside. I don't think it's exactly so. Everyone's duties are so defined. Are they so defined in this temple that everyone has a certain square they're supposed to? So I don't think it's usually a problem. But we should find out what we're supposed to do from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, from the authorities, and then do that. Then we have the feeling that Krishna wants me to do this. Otherwise, how do we know what Krishna wants us to do? Everyone else is telling us to do something else, and we think, well, you're not Krishna's representative. I'm the only representative here. Only Krishna is in my heart. He's not in your heart. Or I have a special relation with the Super Soul. You don't understand him, I do. So we should accept that Krishna is in other devotees' hearts also. And if they actually have a service to instruct us or to engage us in some service, then we should take that as Krishna's arrangement, generally speaking. I mean, there may be extremes. As I said, you know, if the temple president tells us that today we're a little short of money, so we're going to go downtown and rob a bank. That may be a little extreme engagement. Although that has happened in the Vaishnava culture sometimes, but it's not generally expected nowadays. When Ramanujacharya was building the temple, Sri Ranga, then no one would give any donations. So he got together a group of thieves with different mystic powers. One could walk on water, another one could, pick any lock, etc. So he got them together and they stole the money and built the temple. But that would, first of all, we don't have mystic powers, so we're pretty useless. Number two, we have better opportunities than Ramanujacharya had at that time, people who live more generous. So we can't imitate. Anything else? Yes.
What is the proper way to give up the tendency to criticize others?
Well, one way is becoming Krishna conscious, following Rupa Goswami's instruction. We think ourselves to be a servant of our acharyas in succession, and we should serve Rupa Goswami. So when the tendency to criticize comes, we should stop it. Say what actually Krishna wants us to say. So we should think before we speak. And think of what service Prabhupada and Acharyas wants us to perform with our body, mind, and words, and then execute that. So we read Prabhupada's books, hear from Sri Rupa Goswami, then and remember his instructions and apply it, then we'll give up that tendency. Anything else? Yes.
A few days ago, the purport was about Evi, and it was mentioned that someone who's envious cannot understand or read the Bhagavatam. So
Envious?
yes, someone who's envious cannot, as I understood, is not able to read or understand the Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Scripture. So we are all envious in this world. So why are we reading all the Bhagavatam?
I don't know. Maybe we should stop reading.
What are the chances to understand?
Now that you reminded me. Well, because by reading the Bhagavatam in the right mood, from the right source, then we'll get free from our envy. So Prabhupada says there are three classes of men who will relish the Krishna book. Those who are materialists, they'll hear it, but they'll like the stories. They'll be appealing to them. So if they hear from the right source with the right attitude, then gradually they'll become purified. On the other hand, the Madhyamadikari who's actually acting on the spiritual platform, the more they hear the Bhagavatam, the more they become enlivened and enlightened. And for the most advanced devotee, the Uttama-adhikari, that when they hear the Bhagavatam, they actually experience Krishna directly and his devotional service and his associates. So we may not be on the highest platform, but at least we should hear from the right source with the right attitude, and then gradually we'll become elevated. We'll give up our envy and appreciate Krishna and his devotees. Anything else? Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.